And let's find out what's going on. Welcome, everybody. The reason I'm on twice tonight instead of just one time is because we're seeing if there's a better reach at this time slot than there is at the other time slot. So we're going to try this 2 shows, tonight and tomorrow night, just to see who is more likely to call us on which night. So we got some stuff over here on the tablet. We actually have, we don't have yet, but we will soon. Let's see what we've got going on here. We do have one online person. We have the call center online right now. Let's go ahead and dial into the call center here. And then I'm going to show you, I'll give you an actual little bit of a display of how we call in the call center. And maybe we'll actually do that. Maybe we'll just go to preview. Then we're going to have to do that other stuff. All right, we'll give you a detailed view of what it looks like to dial into the call center. We have one in the call center right now, which is what keeps my hold music from spreading out here into the whole show. So I'm going to show you how this works. And what all right, so this is the call center. This is how you do this part. You type in the email address, and then you type in the password and press OK. Then what you do is you go ahead and you go into the voice dialer and you hit the call right there. And there you go. Now we're into the call. Now if somebody comes in the call as a person, host join the meeting. Okay, great. And let me go ahead and mute my microphone there. That means we have the call center going and there's just me and me in the call center. So that's how the call center works. But what I want to do is I want to tell you about a little bit of what went on in the news today. And what went on in the news is this. And we'll talk a little bit about it right here in this video. It turns out, surprise to everyone, Adam Schiff is a big fat liar.
The New York Times this morning reveals every bit as much that this is just yet another pretext. It turns out that House Intel Committee Chairman Adam Schiff knew about the whistleblower complaint before it was even filed. In fact, he orchestrated the story in secret long before you or I or anyone else in the country heard about it. The so-called whistleblower contacted Schiff's office, which recommended a lawyer for him or her. Schiff later lied about that on television, brazenly, openly. He claimed his office had never spoken to the CIA employee directly. Schiff had to know admitting that would undermine the story and hence impeachment himself. By the way, tonight there are credible rumors that Adam Schiff himself planted today's bombshell New York Times story. He knew it would come out and he wanted the most sympathetic possible coverage. That's the line. We can't confirm that. But either way, the story this morning gravely damages the credibility of the claims Schiff and others are making. Not that anyone in Washington really cares. They've been waiting for this moment for 3 years, no matter what the story was. John Daniel Davidson is political editor.
And there you go, no matter what the story was. He says he didn't tell anybody, or he didn't hear about it ahead of time, rather. He did hear about it ahead of time, the story is credible, and not only that, it's the Washington Post, who has no reason to do anything other than bring Trump down and support the Democrats. Now they're telling the truth. For this once, the Washington Post says they knew about it. They knew about it ahead of time. So let's see what Mr. Dobbs has to say. And Mr. Dobbs is a great man. Everybody knows Lou Dobbs. And he had to say this about the whole situation. Let's listen to see what happens.
Good evening, everybody. The radical Dems have contrived a political persecution of President Trump they will likely soon regret. Already, Speaker Pelosi is talking about prayer, apparently praying for mercy from on high for the lowlifes in her party who have concocted another harebrained scheme with which to attack President Trump. Those same Democrats are advocating impeachment on senseless, baseless claims that President Trump was somehow improper in his telephone conversation with Ukrainian President Zelensky, a claim that both presidents have denied outright, Zelensky saying straight out that Mr. Trump never pressured him in any way, and that is precisely how the transcript of their call reads as well. President Trump focusing on ending Ukrainian corruption, investigating charges that the radical Dems had intervened in 2016 elections, seeking Ukrainian help to embarrass or disparage Mr. Trump and his candidacy. Today, Speaker Pelosi and Adam Schiff leading the charge on Capitol Hill, as is their wont in the last week, in full-throated, dramatic readings, claiming they are afraid President Trump is a threat to the Republic and to the Constitution, the same Constitution that they are working to upend. President Trump is having none of it. The president, in his trademark no-holds-barred fashion, tore into the House Intel Committee chairman this afternoon.
He should be forced to resign from Congress. Adam Schiff, he's a lowlife. He should be forced to resign. He made up a conversation, and he reported it and said it to Congress and to the American people. And it was horrible what he said. And that was supposed to be coming from me, but it was all fabricated. We don't call him Shifty Schiff for nothing. He's a shifty, dishonest guy. This guy was negative on Mike Pompeo. He can't, you know, there's an expression, he couldn't carry his blank strap. I won't say it because they'll say it was so terrible.
Okay, there you go, saying terrible things. But basically, today, the thing that got their goat the most was that President Trump said that Adam Schiff's lies and all of the trumped up, no pun intended, trumped up charges are a bunch of bullshit. He said the real words. I can't say the real words, but he said the trumped up charges are a bunch of bullshit. Now, before we get going on this, if you have an opinion, there's a phone number right down here in that little red strip below me, phone number. You can call it. It's live right now. You can be live on the air. You can tell me your opinion, or you can just be quiet and listen, and nobody knows your opinion. Okay, so here's the deal. Shift is full of shift. Okay, I'm just saying everything he's saying about Trump, about everything going on, about the whole charges, about the whole phone call that's a secondhand attempt at getting to him is not, it's not working. It's not working. So that's the story there. Now, this show here, being a talk show, numbers down there. You want to get online, we'll see a little phone icon up here. When somebody hops in the queue, makes a little bit of noise, of course, it's going to come on right there. So that's how that's going. And this is the talk show. We're coming on 2 times tonight, 2 times tomorrow night to find out which time slot has got more people. If you want us to come on in your time slot, share this out and people will pop in more in this time slot, and therefore you can see a lot more action here If we see the other time slot go way high and this one is way low, we're going to choose the other time slot. So you have the opportunity to help me choose which time slot we're going to broadcast in. Right now, we're doing a split test. You guys know marketing? You know what a split test is. Split test is everything is the same except one thing. And whichever of those two different one things work is where you go with it. So if this is more popular time slot, the other one is less popular, or vice versa, this one's less popular, nobody pops in here. Guess what? We're not going to go with this one. Or if the other one's not as good, we're not going to go with that one. So we're going to make a decision here in the next couple of nights. I might do this tonight and tomorrow night. I might do it Monday and Tuesday. You never know. I might give it another shot. We are testing because this is new. We're testing because this is just a new shot at what we're doing. So let me go into Periscope here. It says I had something going on. So let me see what's going on. It says eDigger's live. Hi eDigger, what's going on? And in this mess, what we're going to do is I'm just going to share this out. The reason I'm going to share it out is because I did that on the other one. We're going to keep everything the same. So let's go in here and turn the sound down. We're going to go share this out. We're also going to tweet it. And as we tweet it, I have 2,000 people following me on Twitter rather. They'll see that. They'll see, hey, maybe I can catch this one. Both broadcasts tonight are live. So I will answer questions in both broadcasts. The first one's done. I'm going to answer questions in this one if we have any. So here's the chat window. That's one of the ways that we're going to be able to communicate. The other way is we have a thing called vMix Social. And I am going to turn on vMix Social. And we're going to hit all of these things. The Facebook one, I have to find posts. And I have to do this new post right here. Okay. So there's the post, this current broadcast right now, and we have new things going on in the broadcast from before. Okay. This is what it looks like if somebody posts by way of Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube. It looks similar to this, and it just pops right in, and we will get the comments that are appropriate to the conversation right there. It doesn't take a lot to feature your comment. If you have a comment, you want people to see it, you want them to know it was you who came up with this brilliant comment, pop in the chat and say something. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. And right now we've got Heather. Hi Heather, what's going on? And so we're just talking a little bit about what's going on, but I also want to tell you what I'm up to. There is a... there we go. There is a, what do you want to call it? A system. There's a system that I've developed called the Life Transform System. That system is a 3-tier system. It takes 3 things. It takes a life plan, which is known as your how. It takes an engine to run it, which is known as, actually, the first one is not your how. The first one is your why. Your life planning is your why. The engine to run it is your how, and the person or guide or persons that you choose to walk that path with is called your who. Now, I'm going to say that in that way because I'm not going to tell you all the details about everything all tonight. We're going to start that next week. I'm going to start revealing the whole plan because you need the plan in order to get going with your life. So that's how you get going with your life. You get going with that plan, and that's how the chat comes up. Anyway, you get going with that plan, And this plan is designed as a 3-tier plan, because if you get just 2 tiers of it going or 1 tier of it going, it's just going to fall down in a couple of weeks. And you're going to look at it, or maybe not even look at it, not even realize that you kind of gave up on it. And you kind of, I'll kind of watch that and I'll decide not to do anything with that, because that's just not something that's I'm interested in. And you lose interest after a while. You lose your motivation after a while. You lose a lot of things after a while that make the whole thing just flop. Okay? And you don't want a plan that's going to flop. That's why I call it a life transformation plan. Life transformation system is because of the 3 tiers that are operating in this system, you're not going to see the whole system flop. Okay? So that is the reason behind the Life Transform system. It's made to go in and be a complete dialogue, a complete plan, a multi-tiered plan that each of these 3 platforms, each of these 3 pedestals, or what do you call them? Anyway, they all hold each other up. All 3 parts, all 3 tiers of the system hold each other up. So we're going to start that next week. We're going to start talking about your life plan, which will turn into a deep understanding of your why, a deep understanding of what you want your life to turn into and be and leave behind. As you're gone from life, what do you want it to leave behind? When you're gone, do you want to just leave behind a bunch of bills that nobody can pay? You want to just leave behind the cost of whoever's going to take care of your memorial or your burial, anyway, all the expenses of your death. That's not a good thing to just leave behind. In addition, do you want people to just realize that you didn't even leave behind a will? You didn't have anything to leave behind. And as a result, you don't have any kind of memories left. You don't have any. It's hard to say. It's hard to focus on the fact that you don't have anything to leave behind. So if you have a legacy to leave behind, there are people who have gone through a system similar to mine and left behind a legacy for their children, for their grandchildren, for their grandchildren's children, for everybody concerned. Good memories left behind for friends, good memories left behind for people they went to church with, family, their community. There are a lot of pillars of various communities out there who have known that leaving a legacy behind is a lot better than leaving some bills behind. And it's true. Somebody will take care of those bills. But if that's all you've got to leave behind, I don't know. Just think about it. It's hard to say that I have a legacy plan. I have a life plan. I have something I know I was put here to do, and I'm going to figure out what that is and do it. There's a way to do that. Once you figure that out, there's a whole engine to how you can keep track of your progress, how you can keep track of your goals and your dreams, and how you're progressing towards those things that will be your legacy that you're leaving behind. It's all about, if you want to think of it that way, it's all about best possible scenario. And the best possible scenario is for you to leave behind a legacy, to leave behind great memories, to leave behind a lot of things that your family, friends, community are going to be able to leverage for years and years after you've left this earth, after you've gone. So it's not about the mortality of the situation. It's not about, wow, I'm sorry that someday I'm going to be gone. It's about leaving something, about building something that will continue. And when you build something that will continue, it's amazing. and it's inspirational. And it helps not only you, not only your family, but your community. It helps everyone that it comes in contact with. So that's what leaving a legacy is all about. That's what I'm talking about overall with the life transformation system. Now there's the legacy, the life plan, there's the engine, and then after that, there's the person that you walk with to help you stay on track, continue on track, be motivated to continue with the system. And if you don't have that, everything falls flat in a matter of a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months. And if it's all going to fall flat, why even start it? So that's why when I developed this thing, I thought, why in my life has my plan to move forward in my life fallen flat? Why has it all of a sudden become uninteresting? Why have I all of a sudden become uninterested in it? So that's what the life of legacy, the plan of legacy, the life plan that takes you to it, the engine to run it, and to have the specifics and be able to focus on it with minimal effort. You can keep track each day of what you need to do. And then the next day comes around and you can keep track that day what you need to do. To stay motivated and to see the results and quantitate the results. You don't want to just say, hey, yeah, I've got a dream that's out there somewhere. And if you can even define that dream, what are the steps to get there? If you can define success. Now, we had somebody come in last show that earlier tonight, someone came in, Nicole came in and said, hey, to help people, to help more people and benefit more people in their lives is my goal. And if you know what that is, that's great. If you know how many people you want to help, how are you going to know when you get there to the goal? That's what you want to figure out. Because if you don't know when you've gotten to the goal, say you've helped out 5 people in a certain period of time, couple months or whatever. Say you've helped out 10 people. How is that different than the 5 people you helped out? How are you going to know what's the number, what's the goal, where are you shooting for? So when you know what the goal is, you know what the specifics are, you know how am I going to know when I got there, then you know you got to the goal. You can look at the quantity or quality or numbers or measurements somehow of what you're doing. You can say, okay, I got to that goal. That's what we're going to help you put together. We're going to take the legacy, lifetime goals, and the goals for day, month, week, year, all that stuff. We're going to put that engine together. We're going to help you coordinate that, organize, stay on track. And then thirdly, we're going to help you focus, be accountable, and that's to anybody. It could be to a life coach, which I am, but also can be to, you can be accountable to your pastor. You can be accountable to your best friend. You can be accountable to somebody in your business with, or you can be accountable to the principal of your kid's school if you know them well enough and they're helping you stay on track, keep on track, and stay motivated. If they have the experience in that, go with that. Go with it. I have the experience in coaching and knowing how to keep you on track, keep you motivated, keep you focused on the right results and the right kinds of goals, what goals are realistic, what goals are not realistic, how to have the right mindset to know that your goals are going to be leading you straight toward the success. You're not saying my success is over this way, but I got to do a couple of goals over here first. That's not how it works. So we can dial in that accountability, and your accountability can take you from a 10% possibility or probability that you're going to achieve a goal or something that you want. It can take you from that 10% probability to a probability factor of 95%. with the accountability partner and the accountability process in place. So we can help you put that together. And I'm going to start going through this next week. Next week, I'm going to start at the beginning. Let's get that life goal system in place. Let's get that legacy desire built, identified, and focused in on so we know what we want. We know what the desire is. We know it's the desire of our heart. Because if we have a deep, concentrated desire in our heart, we're going to go for it. And then once we have that process ironed out and formed up and focused in, and we know what it is, then we can start working on our goals. And then we can start working on things that are actually going to take place. And, we're really going to make it. So we'll work on that life plan. We'll work on the engine. We'll work on the accountability and motivational partner and see who that is and see how it works. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. I am going to try these 2 times again tomorrow. We did them tonight. We're going to see if the difference in the show warrants a little bit. We're going to look at the analytics. We're going to look at the, We're going to look at the algorithm. And we're going to see what's going on. As we look at all that and we compare the early time with the late time tonight, early time with the late time tomorrow, then possibly if we don't see a big difference, we might continue for a couple of nights next week. And I want you guys to tell me. I want you to tell me, I like the early time. Or get on the late show and go in there and hashtag replay and say, I like the late show. Or in the early show, hashtag replay. I like the early show. And let me know which show you like. We'll try and do the same thing no matter what show we do. It was a little bit different today, early from late. That's okay. But basically, we do know there's crazy stuff going on in Washington, D.C. We do know there's crazy stuff going on in the media. All the crazy actors that get on there and say, beep 'em, beep 'em. So crazy people doing crazy things and saying he's doing that. I hope they don't see that I'm doing that too. There's all of that. So that's what we want to focus on. We want to try and, we don't care about this crazy news. We could lose the crazy news as far as I'm concerned. Right now, it's just filler. It's just filler. And see this? See this right down here? Talk show. Talk show. Pop quiz. What do you do on a talk show? You call in. Think about it. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to hit the outro over here on my command console. And you guys have a good night. God bless you. We'll see you tomorrow, both early and late, 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock West Coast. We're going to figure out which one of these has the better analytics, and then we'll go for it. We may do 2 nights this week of this, couple nights next week, or maybe 3 nights next week of this, 2 shows a night, just to see where you guys are popping in and where it's evening out or where it's growing on one side or on the other. So we'll check it out. We'll see how it's working. Good night, guys. God bless. Don't forget, I am the Unstuck Coach. Let's get you unstuck.